So India is making this absolutely massive bet on its future, and it all comes down to one thing: education. But we're not just talking about building a few more schools here. No, this is a huge strategic push to create one of the world's largest and most skilled workforces. Let's really dive in and unpack what that means.
Okay, let's just start with a number that kind of puts this whole thing into perspective. Just look at that. Over 78,000 crore rupees. For those of you trying to do the math, that's almost 10 billion US dollars, set aside for higher education in a single year. This isn't just a budget line item. It's a huge statement of intent.
All right, so to really get our heads around what a number like that means for the country, we're going to break this explainer down into 5 key parts. We'll kick things off with the big picture, then we'll zoom right into the flagship IIT expansion. After that, we'll look at the broader skilling ecosystem, see how they're actually measuring results, and then wrap up with what this all could mean for the future.
First up, let's take a look at the grand strategy. Because, when you see a budget this big, it's so important to understand the philosophy that's driving it all.
And this really gets right to the heart of the strategy. It's all about tying education directly to economic growth. The goal isn't just to hand out degrees, right? It's to build a talent pipeline that's ready to fuel industry, spark innovation, and really solidify India's place on the world stage.
Now, let's zoom in on a real centerpiece of this whole initiative: the expansion of the world-renowned Indian Institutes of Technology, or the IITs. For anyone who might not know, these are basically the crown jewels of India's engineering and tech education system. We're talking top tier.
And here's the thing, this isn't starting from scratch, not even close. As you can see right here, they've already doubled the capacity over the last decade. So this new plan, well, it's like pouring rocket fuel on that fire to kick the growth into an even higher gear.
So the next concrete step is to add another 6,500 seats. What that means is thousands of new opportunities for India's brightest minds to get a really world-class education in engineering and science without having to leave the country.
Now, this expansion is going to be super targeted. It's focusing on 5 of the newer IITs that were set up after 2014: Tirupati, Palakkad, Bhilai, Jammu, and Dharwad. This also helps build up these educational hubs in different regions all across the country.
And to make all this happen, the government has put some serious money on the table. We're talking about a commitment of nearly 12,000 crore rupees. That's roughly $1.4 billion just for this one phase of the IIT expansion alone. But here's what's really interesting. This money isn't just about adding more desks to classrooms. Look at what it actually delivers. You've got brand new infrastructure, dedicated jobs for new professors, cutting-edge research parks to link up with industry, and even specific funding to expand IIT Patna. It's really about building out the entire innovation ecosystem.
But this strategy is so much bigger than just the IITs. I mean, as prestigious as they are, they're really only one piece of a much, much larger puzzle to build a skilled nation from the ground up.
And this table just illustrates that point perfectly. While the IITs get a huge chunk of change, almost 5,000 crore, just look at the other numbers. The National Apprenticeship Training Scheme, or NATS, gets 1,250 crore. And what's even more telling, the PM-SETU scheme for vocational training gets over 6,100 crore. So you can see there's some really heavy investment happening across the entire skills spectrum.
So this PM-SETU scheme is a huge part of that grassroots effort. It's not about abstract theoretical knowledge. It's about getting in there and modernizing 1,000 of these industrial training institutes, the ITIs, to give practical, job-ready skills to hundreds of thousands of young people.
So really, the whole strategy is designed to be inclusive. It's meant to cater to a huge range of talents and career goals. It's this recognition that a strong economy doesn't just need elite engineers. It also means skilled technicians, master craftspeople, and a really well-trained workforce at literally every single level.
Okay, so with billions and billions being spent, the big question is always this: how does the government make sure all this money is actually leading to real-world results? Well, they've got a new framework for exactly that. It's called the Output Outcome Monitoring Framework, or OMF for short. And this is a really modern way of thinking about governance. It shifts the focus away from just spending money, which is the outlay, to tracking the tangible things you produce, the outputs, and most importantly, the actual impact those things have, which are the outcomes.
The logic is actually super simple, but really powerful. It's a 3-step process. Step 1, how much money did we spend? Step 2, okay, what did we actually build, or who did we train with that money? And then step 3, the big one,
Did it actually make a difference? Did it improve people's lives or skills?
And what this really means is a huge shift in how success gets measured. It's not about how big the budget was anymore. Now the main question is, what was the actual impact? And that is a fundamental and honestly a very welcome change in how government tends to work.
And here's a perfect, real-world example of this oomph thing in action. Take the apprenticeship scheme. The outlay is 1,250 crore. The target output is crystal clear: train 600,000 students. But it's the target outcome that really matters. Make sure that at least 40% of those apprentices are rated as good or better by the industries that actually hire them. That is the real test of success.
So, let's pull all of this together. What's the big takeaway from this enormous push in education and skilling that's happening in India?
Well, what we've seen is this really deliberate two-pronged attack. On one side, you've got this massive, kind of unprecedented expansion of educational infrastructure. And then on the other side, you have a modern system of accountability to make sure every single rupee that's spent delivers real, tangible results. And this kind of leaves us with a final thought to chew on. As millions of newly skilled graduates from these expanded IITs, these upgraded ITIs, and all these universities start entering the global workforce over the next decade, how is this wave of human capital going to reshape not just India's economy, but the very nature of the worldwide race for talent?